You're listening to the Visibly Fit podcast. Hey, I'm your host, Wendie Pett, and every week I'll give you holistic, practical solutions for everyday issues related to nutrition, healing, functional fitness, and behavior modifications. As a naturopath, fitness expert, and wellness coach for over 20 years, my goal is to empower you to reach for greater health and to rise up to your next level of living in mind, body, and spirit. You were created with greatness in mind. It's time to own it. Are you with me? Then let's dive in. Are you irritable, or is your bowel irritable and that's making you irritable? Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome. Hi, I'm Wendie Pett, and this is the Visibly Fit podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. And yes, if you deal with IBS, the bloating, the gas, the flagellants, the just the constant abdominal cramping, whether it's minimal or a lot, or maybe you deal with running to the bathroom after a meal because you have diarrhea, or maybe you have constipation. This episode will be for you because IBS is something that typically goes along with SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And about 80% of people that have IBS also have SIBO. So I have patients that are like, oh, my stomach just hurts. And every time I, eat, I have to run to the bathroom. And so I'm like, okay, let's get this gut healthy and well so you don't have to deal with this anymore. Because I think oftentimes, we are told that we have IBS or SIBO. We've got that one label that's put on there, and a lot of times, medication is prescribed and that kind of thing. But what if we just get to the root of the issue and not put a Band-Aid on it, right? There's so many causes of IBS and SIBO, but the biggest is how you're fueling your body or not fueling your body. Because listen, a lot of times people think that carbs are the enemy, and they are not the enemy. Processed carbs are the enemy. And I think that's really more of what we want to talk about. So if you are constantly going to, the white bread and white rice and the sugar, right? Like if you're like, I crave sugar. Well, you probably are feeding that bacteria that is causing the cramping and the bloating and the gas in your gut. So we have to change the way you're eating in order to really balance out the good and bad gut bacteria. We have 100,000 organisms living in our small intestine. And when there's this overgrowth of bacteria, man, it just slows down the passage of food and waste products in our digestive tract. And that's just a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, right? When there's food and waste kind of just lingering and stuck in that area. So we want to have a healthy digestive tract. We want to make sure that we're not feeding and fueling that unhealthy bacteria to cause an overgrowth, and whether it's candida and other bacteria that are causing just havoc in the gut microbiome and in the digestive tract. So we want to look at how are you eating. Now, I know it's interesting because there's a lot of information out there, and I'm sure people are overwhelmed with being told, eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this. And it's so confusing. But I'll tell you that when I've had patients that have had gut issues, we could get them on track with the protocols that Visibly Fit offers. And sometimes we have to eliminate certain things. Sometimes there's some food intolerances because, everyone is different. It's not a one size fits all solution, but it is pretty much the same protocol, unless there is a major overgrowth situation. But usually the gut will start to heal and repair itself as you're bringing in the proper prebiotics and probiotics, and you've got the digestive enzymes to break everything down accordingly, and you're not feeding the unhealthy bacteria. So what do you do? I know you want to be just relieved of maybe the symptoms. And so you might want to go after that quick fix solution. But what if we just did the work? What if we did the work together and you solved the problem through and through, and you changed your lifestyle? Because that's really what it takes. It's not a one kind of thing that's going on in your life that is the culprit. It's probably multiple things that we need to address, whether it's environmental toxins, right? Maybe it's maybe you drink alcohol or caffeine, and that's a problem. Maybe you're consuming foods that are inflammatory type of foods that we need to eliminate. Maybe your lifestyle is so discombobulated that it's causing the stress. Let's talk about stress. Oh my goodness. That just flips on those inflammatory markers like there's no tomorrow. So if you've got massive stress in your life, we got to talk about that. We have to figure out how to, in your life, to de-stress and declutter your busy schedule, right? It might be learning to say no instead of yes to everything. Hey, I've been there myself. I know, I get it. And we have to have healthy boundaries, or we can disrupt our microbiome. So de-stressing is a big one. Getting proper rest and sleep is a big one. That's when our body heals and repairs. Making sure that, we're getting our circadian rhythm back on track. Exercising. Yes, moving our body is so important. Because if you're not moving your body, then your body does really start to shut down and break down. But the biggest thing is making sure that you're fueling your body best with the proper foods that can help to eliminate and balance out the gut microbiome, and get rid of this bacterial overgrowth. Now, we might need to take some bigger measurements, and we might need to do a stool sample, right, to see where you're at. Now, that's not a fun test to take. I've done it, but it is a very good test as far as getting just accurate results. Again, not fun, but I would highly recommend it. You can also do a breath test to see if you've got hydrogen or methane in the breath, and that can be fairly accurate. But again, the stool is going to be the best way to find out if you do have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or, the IBS. Again, they're pretty much related. So that's what I would recommend. And bringing in different protocols, like I'm a big fan of using different herbs and spices into the foods, because not only anti-inflammatory spices and herbs, but also ones that are going to help stabilize the gut microbiome. So things like ginger and garlic, bringing in oregano and thyme and cumin. How about caraway seeds? When's the last time you used caraway seeds, or anise, or allspice? I mean, there's so many different ways in which we can holistically take care of our gut microbiome. But the problem that a lot of people fall into, a trap, is that they tend to eat the same foods every day, same spices every day, or maybe it's not. Maybe they don't even use spices or herbs, right? They don't even know how to cook or consume them. And so I would say, let's get a little more creative in how you're going about with your daily micros and macros, because you might just be malnourished, right? Not only maybe is there malabsorption, and that's inadequate, but you may be malnourished. And so we really need to take a look at all that. And that's what we do at Visibly Fit is let's look at what you are consuming on a daily basis. Are you more of the sad kind of lifestyle, meaning the standard American diet lifestyle, because you're on the go and you go through drive-throughs and you have prepackaged and pre-boxed kind of foods that you go to because it's quick and easy? Or are you really taking the time to fuel your body best and have a variety of foods, and you're not bringing in processed carbs, right? That you're doing more of the complex, healthy carbs, the vegetables, right? The greens and the beans and tubers and nuts and seeds and all the great things that can really help to get your health on track. And if you are dealing with IBS and SIBO, I will tell you that they are probably opening the door, if they haven't already, to other autoimmune diseases, right? And issues. So when we get your gut health on track and get that taken care of, then I'm telling you, you will feel better. You'll have more energy. You will just be able to show up in a new way with your life. And I get so excited when I see my patients kind of have that aha kind of light bulb go off when they are doing the work. And I say work because it is work in the beginning, especially if you're not used to taking the time to cook and to de-stress and to exercise and to be disciplined when you're, going to bed and the time that you're rising and all those things. It takes work in the beginning just because you're not used to it. But once you start getting on track and you start loving yourself well, you will notice a difference and you show up in your life in a whole new way. And you do have the energy and you do have the mental clarity to get you to not just through your day, but help you succeed in all areas of your life. And that's what I want for you. So I would love to have a conversation with you if you are dealing with, irritable bowel syndrome, SIBO issues. It may be that we need to get you on something a little more potent, if you will, like some different protocols with oil of oregano and different things like that. Or maybe we need to get you on some candy Bactin or something of that nature, in addition to, what I really promote and share with Visibly Fit. But those are things that we can talk about. But we want to do the simple things first and see how you feel and start to eliminate the things in your diet and lifestyle that are not serving you well, and bring in the foods, the habits, the mindset, all of it that will fuel you best in all areas of your life to get you on the right track. And we do that together, and it takes accountability, because I think so often we're told so much information that it's just overwhelming. And if it were, quote unquote, easy, and if we didn't need accountability, then we would all be just super fit and healthy and no need for someone like myself, right? But accountability is important. And that's what we do as well in Visibly Fit. There's high level accountability, and we have a community where there's support. And sometimes when you go at it, you're on your own. If you're that personality that you can do that, awesome, go for it. But most people need to have, just support and have their hand held through the process. And that's what we do, along with the coaching calls each week and the education piece, because knowledge is power. And when we put that knowledge into action, that's where that real power of healing comes in. So are you willing? Are you willing to receive the healing? There is a scripture verse here, actually, that I was reading the other day. And it's actually when Jesus performs one of his many miracles, and he was healing the man that had leprosy. I'm just going to read this really quick because I think this is part of the puzzle, if you will. But it says in Matthew 8, it says, large crowds followed Jesus as he came down the mountainside. Suddenly, a man with leprosy approached him and knelt before him. Lord, the man said, if you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean. And Jesus reached out and touched him. And he said, I am willing. He said, be healed, be healed. And instantly the leprosy disappeared. So Jesus is willing, but I want to ask you, are you willing? Are you willing to receive the healing? Because Jesus is always willing, but we have to do the work, right? Not always. I mean, miracles like this happen, right? But I know that the majority of healings occur when we have faith plus works, when we have faith in our healing, plus we take the action steps and do the work to make it happen. And so what is that in your life that needs to change so that you can get the healing that you deserve? And it might be just picking up the phone and calling me and let's have a conversation, or emailing me. In fact, my email is wendy@wendiepett.com, and let's have a conversation. Let's get you on my calendar and talk it through. Let's see if Visibly Fit is a good fit for you and get you on that road to healing, because you deserve it. And your family, your friends, those that are around you deserve for you to be in your healthiest, best state. And again, so much of gut health issues are related to autoimmune issues, from cancer to endometriosis to fibromyalgia to you name it, arthritis. So when we can get the gut healed, then the other stuff goes away and gets healed as well. So that's my message to you today. Don't be shy. Reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation with you. My team and I are on a mission to help you get healed, healthy, and whole. So have that faith, but also do the work. All right, do the work. Send an email. Let's have a phone call and let's get this done. One small step at a time, right? Because it is a lifestyle of choices, and it's a lifestyle of creating new habits. And we're going to do the conquer and layer approach. We're going to master one, conquer it, and then layer it on with a new mastering of a habit, and get this gut in a healthy place. All right. One bite at a time, one step at a time, one thought at a time. And one breath at a time, which we do a lot of breathing work to help to de-stress. So yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's a holistic approach. And we want to get your body in a homeostasis, balanced state of being. So let's talk. But if you are dealing with that constant irritable bowel kind of thing that's making you irritable, let's have a conversation, because you don't have to live with that any longer. All right. All right. Blessings. And if this episode encouraged you or blessed you, please share it with others. Would love it if you would leave a rating and a review on the podcast. That's awesome. Would love that. And if you are a social media person, you can find me on Facebook and also Instagram. It's at Wendie Pett on Instagram, also YouTube channel. You can find me there, and all of the interviews and podcasts are there as well. So would love to just have a conversation with you wherever you are in social media. I'm usually there as well. So reach out, say hello, and let's dialogue. All right. All right. Blessings, my friend. We'll catch you next week right here on Visibly Fit. Be blessed. Well, that's a wrap for today's show. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love spending this time with you. To learn more and get more free resources, just head on over to wendiepett.com. And thank you in advance for sharing this episode and this podcast, following and subscribing, not only to this podcast, but finding me on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, I'm probably there too. Until next week and our next podcast time together, make it a Visibly Fit day.